Hi, everyone. I hope you are doing well. This is Sarah with Divine Love Healing. Thank you so much for being here today and for supporting my channel. I wanted to come on here today to talk about the upcoming Lionsgate portal. Actually, the portal opened on July 26th and it goes through August 12th. But the energy, is the most intensified on the actual date of the Lion's Gate, which is 8/8. So, just to give you a very quick synopsis of this energy and this time, if you're not familiar with it, I'm just going to read this quick. This is some information posted by @everything.aligns. I thought it was very concise and um, great description to provide to you all. So it says, during this time, light code activations will take place that will awaken us and align us with our potential. The sun and star Sirius will soon be streaming towards Earth, bringing profound healing, visions, spiritual downloads, vivid dreams, synchronicities, miracles, conscious awakening, romance, enhanced psychic abilities, frequency upgrades, courage, emotional releases, stepping into our power, and potent energy for manifesting. It's just, every year this is a time of mass awakening. And, when I talk about awakening, it's yes, this is the time of year in 2017 when I went through my spiritual awakening. It started a few months before, but August was definitely the time frame when I had my Kundalini awakening. I actually realized what was happening and that I wasn't going crazy. But, so yeah, I had my quote awakening in 2017, but I'm telling you, that was 5 years ago. And I feel like I'm going through another awakening on a different level of just really recognizing the ways that I'm still not, living and acting and as my highest and most authentic self, right? So for me, that's been, kind of stripping away those layers, kind of really taking a hard look at myself and realizing the work that I still need to do. So there's some of that, no matter, what spectrum, part of the spectrum you're on, whether it's, hey, I think I might be starting to go through a spiritual awakening, or I want to have a spiritual awakening, or that might be what's happening, to, yeah, I went through a spiritual awakening a decade ago or whatever. There's still other levels of it that are coming in and up leveling that's occurring. So I just wanted to share that aspect with you guys. I also, as you may see here, I have kind of the Egyptian theme going on again with the Ankhs here. I do have these. I don't have these specific two for sale. I do have smaller ones, but if you have any interest, I may be able to get one or both of these. This is the Divine Masculine and this is the Divine Feminine one. But, certainly let me know and I can inquire, and as these are handmade, and see if there are any more available. I also have a pyrite pyramid here, just really, in a carnelian flame, just really feeling that energy. The Syrian star system definitely has ties back to ancient Egypt. So if you feel you have spirit line or past life ties back to ancient Egypt, this could be even more of a profound time for you. So what I'm going to do today, I really don't have any specific outline for this reading. So you guys, if you follow me for a while, a lot of times I tend to kind of just wing it and see what happens. But because of the tie to Sirius in Egypt, I wanted to start with the Sirian Starseed Tarot. And I will put links to all of these decks down below. That way, if you have any interest in purchasing these, that you're able to do that easily and not search for them in vain. But what I've done is I've taken the major arcana out of the Sirian Starseed Tarot deck, and I am going to shuffle. I'm going to shuffle these, and I'm going to see what theme. Again, this is a general collective reading, so take what resonates, toss the rest. But for the collective, what theme is really at play here during this Lionsgate? Like what, the energy coming in, what is happening? Why are things happening? What is the overall theme here? Oh my gosh, you guys, you can't make this stuff up. I always say that. But we got the Strength card. what's interesting to me, and the reason I laughed is because strength is the number 8 major arcana, and it is associated with Lionsgate. It is the Leo season card. But what's interesting is in this, pretty much any deck you see, you're going to see a lion on the strength card. Here, this to me is a tiger. Yeah, that's definitely a tiger. So speaking of animals and cats, you may see my cat Pip in the background. Let's see if I can lift. There she is. So she's going to join the reading today too. She's not a lion, but she kind of acts like she is. She thinks she is. Anyway, strength. This to me is absolutely spot on, and you can see the fire coming out of this, right? You're coming, it's like, to me, this card is about confidence. It's about confidence and believing in yourself and doing, what I'm seeing is, there are things, there are, shifts that maybe need to be made in your life, or there are opportunities that are coming in, and there are opportunities, and again, it could be job opportunities, it could be romantic opportunities. I mean, I just feel like there are so many, when you're on this path, there are so many doors that are starting to open, but there's that fear. There's that fear of, what is it, the imposter syndrome? Am I really good enough? Am I meant to do this? How am I going to find the time to make this work? How am I it's going to take practice. It's going to take effort. And it's something that, there's a fire burning in your soul, and it's propelling you forward, and it's something you're supposed to do, right? Now, I'm going to read from this booklet just to see, because of the energy of this deck being associated with Sirius, there could be other messages that are tied to Lionsgate. So I'm going to read that, and then I'm going to pull, definitely pull some more cards and probably a spread here, just to get some more in-depth insight. But Homo sapiens is considered the intellectual master of Earth biology, the highest form of consciousness of all primates. Yet we still have not managed to learn to control and calm the savage beast within. It is a lesson Starseed has come to learn again and again to remember. How are we the beasts of our own passion, and from where do we truly glean our strength to dominate the jungle animal within us? Through the reason of our higher selves and the unconditional love of the heart. The strength key speaks to us of the power of love and how the impulsive animal self is embraced and soothed in the softness of the feminine yin spirit. Always prepared to strike, the tiger yields to the grace of the female form, and she, naked and vulnerable before the beast, fears not. The animal forceful self and the loving gentle self merge as two aspects of the greater whole. This key teaches us that inner strength is as much about gentility and grace as it is about force and fierceness, the vital and even sexual animal response. Associated with the strength key are the words self-mastery, compassion, self-awareness, understanding, respect, courage. Questions to consider when this key appears in a reading are the following. What are the primal needs that try to dominate the higher reflection of my consciousness? How do I nurture the beast within me, calming the primal instinct? How am I demonstrating strength in this situation? So, to me, what's really standing out here, right, on top of the things that I was already talking about as far as confidence, this is, what I was saying earlier when I was talking about how recently I have gone through sort of my own, epiphany, reawakening process. And, just to give you guys a little bit of insight, when I first awakened in 2017, if you guys have followed me, since that time, you may or may not know the story, but that for me, I was catapulted onto the twin flame journey, which has become, in my mind and many people in the community, this overused label, and it's an excuse for people to stay in toxic, unhealthy situations, and they're chasing this fantasy, right? But that was how I awakened, and I do believe that twin flames are real, but what has shifted within me over these last 5 years is that it is, you know, more about union with yourself. So some of this card and what this book was talking about was mastering the beast within and the gentle feminine energy. But yeah, you know, over time, many of us who have been on this path, you know, we're single many, many years. Some still maybe are single. And you do feel like you get to the point where, yeah, I'm in union with myself pretty well. You know, I like to be alone. I don't have the codependency anymore. You know, I'm strong. I'm living my truth. But there's another level. There's another layer that's, you know, at least within my journey that's come forth recently, is the self mastery. It's one thing to feel like I'm pretty balanced in my masculine, feminine. Yes, I love myself. You know, I'm good to be alone. You know, I don't need a specific outcome with a specific person anymore, and I don't necessarily need anyone anymore, right? In that regard, like, you know, your focus has shifted to just this beautiful, like, loving your life, right? But there's another layer of this self mastery, which to me is like above this union of self. And for me, it's come back to the natal chart. The astrology chart, really, you know, I started looking into that. I am working on another deck, a self-created deck called the Cosmic Order Oracle, and I'm getting very close to being done with that one. But it does dive into all aspects of the natal chart, the planets, the celestial cycles, and how those things, you know, there will be a booklet that explains a lot of those aspects. So when I started working on that, I started looking into some of these lesser known areas of the chart and recognizing, wow, this is the reason why, you know, I'm so disorganized at home, and why it's like, can never find things, or, you know, like, I'm very organized in my business and my work life, right? My career, but like my personal stuff, it's always just been this chaos. And like, and then I had this excuse, kind of like, well, I live alone, it doesn't really matter, you know, if there's clutter. And you know, and it's not like some episode of Hoarders or something, guys. Like, it's not really that bad, but at the same time, it is an issue, and I see it. I go into other people's homes and I'm like, gosh, how do they keep things together? And I thought, this was just you know, this is just who I am, and would make excuses. But like, lo and behold, I started looking into my North Node and realizing, like, holy crap, like, my North Node being in Virgo means one of my big challenges is structure, organization. And it's like my South Node's in Pisces, and I'm like, whoa, there's the Pisces in my chart. I always knew it was there, right? The kind of just laid back, and just fantasy land, and not living in reality, not grounding in reality. And so when I realized that, though, it empowered me, and that's why I'm sharing it with you guys. It's like, whoa, you know, part of becoming, at least in my mind, what I'm discovering, part of becoming your authentic self is looking at your natal chart. And there's aspects where I would have said 10 years ago, I'm not a Sagittarius, I don't like to travel. And lo and behold, now I travel all over by myself, right? That was part of my awakening. And, you know, embodying these different areas. And it's really fascinating, because that's your natal chart is, you know, when you were born. What were your aspects of how you were created energetically, and through programming and through all these other things, you sort of lose yourself. So it's a really interesting mapping device, I have found. So when I, you know, see self-mastery, it's like, okay, not only are we working on, you know, taming the fire, right? Taming that beast, that masculine energy. For me, I've been overly my masculine, but bringing in that grace, bringing in that, and having that strength of both aspects of yourself, having the confidence, having the courage, right? The solar plexus energy, but then also having the feminine flow, to trust and surrender. It's you have to be strong to anchor your faith and surrender and flow in that manner too. So it's really been a beautiful process, and for me, that's what this means, right? But I'm gonna pull some cards, some more fire, and for the record, guys, we got the Chariot underneath on the bottom, and I did shuffle these, but the Chariot, it's like full speed ahead, right? I mean, things are going, and usually it's about balance. The Chariot card, usually you'll see, there'll be like a wolf or the horses, one will be white, one will be black. What's interesting in this deck, this to me, I don't know what you guys think if you're very familiar, but this looks like the goddess Kali to me. It looks like her, and it almost looks like the Chariot is this castle, and it looks like the flags, like they're kind of like ripped. It looks like you're moving out of some situation, something that, taking that strength to propel you forward into a new realm. I feel like there's absolutely been this energy of death and rebirth. Like, it feels like this whole year, but especially during Cancer season, during the end of June and then into, July, there was just this complete just stripping away of realizing some very painful things, letting go, having to let go. And I feel like I recorded a video on this, and I don't know if it was a collective energy update. There was definitely something, I feel like in June. So you guys, I haven't recorded a lot of videos in the last month, so you may want to just look back, because if this is resonating as far as a death and rebirth, I remember the Three of Swords coming out in the spread as the action forward that was going to be required to like push through this time, that we were being urged to take some painful steps, be it end relationships, be it quit jobs, just make necessary changes. And so what's just crazy to me, like I said, is that her showing up here, or an image that looks like her with the Chariot, and it's almost like a ghostly, because they're all white. It's like they're flying in the sky, but it's like leaving the past behind, moving forward. Oh, and this is crazy, guys. The Chariot is associated, I'm pretty sure it's the major arcana associated with Cancer. And obviously it's 7, so that's the 7th month. So that was like the bottom of the deck. That's like what we're leaving behind. And then underneath that, we have the reflection card, which is the Hermit. So there's been this introspection that's been taking place, right? Letting go of these things, like going through this death and rebirth, and then going within. And if you haven't been doing that, I think that's what we're being called to do, is kind of look at what areas, like, are you still lacking in self-mastery? Really do some introspection. And it's not pleasant, it's not fun to take a look at yourself in the mirror and to look at that shadow. But I'm also getting to that for some of you, if you haven't left the situation behind yet, you're definitely going to be called to do that, because in these instances, right, if we're not moving forward on our desired path, we're suppressing our passion, we're suppressing that fire, and it is going to consume us. And that's what I see here too, is to have that strength to, to not ignore the cry of your soul any longer. So it's very, very profound. And for some of you, it definitely could be a love situation. We got the Lovers here. And what's crazy to me is that you can see they're coming out of this. It's like it almost looks like a genie, but it looks like it's coming out of a sunset, but it's like all the chakras merged. So that to me is another sign of balance, right? Because this is number 6. This card talked about balance. So I think we're really being urged to work on a fresh start and moving forward in ways that are in alignment with who we are. Let's see here. Actually, I think, I don't know that I need to pull another spread, because I feel like I used those cards, I think, provided us good enough guidance on really what's going on. Although I may pull, let's do the action. We'll do more, because I do want to use this dragon card. Yeah, it's the action forward during this Lionsgate. What's going to come from this portal. Whoa. Wow. Oh my gosh. Holy crap, guys. I don't even know what to say. Blown away. So the first card that came out was the Ten of Swords. And, you know, if you guys are, even if you're not familiar with tarot, you can see, you know, that's a painful card, right? Tens represent the end. It's a death. That's exactly what I was just picking up on with this, right? If Kali, you know, she's the god, like you come in and it's like, she will cut up everything and cut off everything that is no longer in alignment. And that is painful. It's not pleasant, right? To let go of those things. This, you know, but it's long dead. It's long dead. This dragon that has the bones in, or the swords in it, he's bones. Like there's nothing there anymore. So if you are holding on to something, you know, and you needed that confirmation, this sign that there's nothing left to salvage. There's nothing left to salvage. And guess what came right after? The Fool. The Fool, the new beginning. Oh my gosh. I'm just like, I'm so blown away. I have chills. So, do you guys see what is on this card? It's a baby tiger. And I think he's a white tiger. I don't think that there are any other, maybe the strength card in this one might have a tiger or a lion in it, but this deck is literally a deck of dragons. There's a freaking tiger. And what did we get on this is a tiger. And it's about starting over, starting fresh. A brand new beginning. And the white, it's like this, it's just this healthier, new, fresh, you know, white is angelic. It's like you're being guided to, you know, and this is a, you know, it's a scary prospect, right? But to take that risk, jump off the cliff, leap of faith. That's what the Fool is. That Spirit is saying, like, this is the time. This is the time to do it. And what's really crazy, I didn't get into, but like the next card after I pulled, so we had, obviously the Strength was on the top. The bottom of the deck was the Chariot, as you guys know. Then I pulled Reflection, which was the introspection phase, right? And then we had the Lovers, which again, if you're, you know, if you're watching this about a romantic situation, this can definitely provide you specific confirmation on that, right? But to me, it's more about an inner balance, self-mastery, getting all your chakras, you know, your chakras lit, your chakras aligned, getting yourself mastered in all aspects, from the root all the way up to the crown. And maybe, you know, that just gave me an idea for another video I might do at some point, is maybe pull just cards on the different chakras and just give some guidance on what Spirit wants you to know and alignment of that. So stay tuned if you're interested in that. But anyway, I digress. On the next card was the Starseed, which in this deck is 0, which is the Fool. So we had it come out, basically the Fool came out twice. We had Strength come out, but then we also had the Tiger come out twice. And for some of you, if tiger, you know, is your spirit animal, your totem animal, obviously confirmation for you there. But, you know, you may want to look up tiger totem since it's come out twice and just see what it, what further guidance it provides. But, you know, the outcome, what I was asking about, you know, first I said, what do they want us to know? That was the Ten of Swords. Like, it's, if you've not let it go, you've got to let it go, because it's dead, it's in the past, it's gone, it's no longer serving you. And if you need help with cutting that out, whatever this is, you can call in Kali to work with you on cutting these cords, cutting these ties. Okay, and you can look up some information online on her and maybe some different rituals of how to do that. But, you know, this is clear that, you know, there are things that you have to let go to move forward and open the door into a new beginning. And that, if you are at this precipice where you have an opportunity, be it with a new relationship, be it with a new job, be it with, even if you maybe don't have a new job, but let's say, because I was in this situation last year where you have maybe you have some savings build up and you're able to take a leap of faith and quit your job and you've been thinking about it. This is a confirmation, right? To have that strength, right? Because it's whatever is going on is consuming you, right? You either are suppressing passion, getting, for some of you, you're unhappy, or it's just like the stress is like burning you alive, right? Could be just toxic situations, just different, friendships, or just family situations, something that's, just it's not, you keep trying to force something to work and it's just not in alignment anymore. But so what I asked, obviously what was coming next, you got the new beginning, but this is what's just so beautiful. You got the star. The star. This is a major arcana. It's one of the most beautiful cards in any deck, really, but this deck especially. I just absolutely love it. It's like, you could almost say that's the Sirius star, right? That's with the Lion's Gate. This almost, to me, looks like, it's not, there's not 12 here. Let's see, there's 2, 4, 6, 7 dragons. There are actually 8 dragons if you count the big one there, which is interesting because 8, right? But this almost, to me, looks like a Zodiac wheel, even though there's not 12. That's just what it reminds me of. And this to me is about alignment. It's about alignment. And again, that going back to that self-mastery. Like, if you can use this potent energy, and I don't know if I mentioned it, I may have in the description I read at the beginning, but if you can use this potent energy to manifest, right? And if you're not sure, about the ways that you aren't in alignment with yourself, you can maybe sit down and just, maybe out in nature if you can, and just start, writing and see what comes out. See what keywords come out. Try to see what, what habits do you know that you have that maybe aren't ways that you exhibit your best self. Maybe just start there, writing those things down, or things, if you are living with a spouse or a person, or others, or, things in the past maybe that have gotten on people's nerves or bothered people, right? I mean, there's a balance there. You don't want to change who you are, right? If somebody's being overly critical and nitpicky and making you walk on eggshells. But I think, you can take a genuine, like, hard look at yourself and recognize, okay, these are areas where I can do better, where I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect. And, I'm not saying we're striving for perfection, but there's areas where you can get more in alignment with your true self. So that's really what we're being called to do. Also, I wanted to mention, it's so random that there's a flamingo here in this card. I have no idea why it's there. Maybe I should read the booklet and see what it says. I may actually do that, guys. Now I'm really curious. So just watch me. Don't mind me reaching over here, getting all this stuff. This is just this is one of my newest decks, and I saw it. There was another reader using it, and I just had to buy it. It's got this gorgeous book. I mean, look at all this in here. And the artwork, and it's just fabulous. All right, let's see if it says anything about the flamingo. Okay, I'll go ahead and just read this that way, since I got it out. An Upland Dragon. Actually, I'm going to set this guy here so you can see it. Okay. An Upland Dragon, all cyan, white, and silver, is luminous as she emerges from a crystal pool. Water, blue as her scales, cascades off her wings. From the right, it streams back to the lake. From the left, it falls onto the land, forming rivulets that run down the hillside, nurturing the earth before returning to their source. Over her head, in uplifted paws as soft as puffin down, she cradles a brilliant 8-pointed spirit star. The tree of the mind grows on a distant hill, home to the sacred ibis of thought. Okay, so I guess it's an ibis, not a flamingo. Radiating cosmic energy, 7 stellar golden dragons dance across the night sky. Through the stars' light comes from afar, it dazzles nonetheless. It shines the way from darkness and despair to joy and good fortune. Those it touches are blessed with optimism and health. The waters of the subconscious run clear, rejuvenating the spirit. Chakras are open, energy flows through both mind and body. Old wounds begin to heal. Have faith, the path ahead is bright with inspiration and hope. I love that so much. And I love how it references the waters of the subconscious. Because a lot of the things, when it talks about wounds, we may not realize what wounds and, areas where we're not in alignment and what may be holding us back. What I love here, though, just like the energy, this energy is a little bit darker, right? It's more scary, right? It's cloudy. They're like going to take that leap of faith. This is just full surrender. Surrender to your higher self. Surrender to flow. Opening yourself up to the next phase of your journey. And so what I keep getting, and I know I keep repeating myself, but you can't get to this point where you're just in surrender flow and everything's in alignment if you're holding on to that. Now, since wounds came up, I am going to pull, if I can find it. I'm going to pull from my Triggers and Shadows Oracle deck just to see, that way, because, again, some of us, when you're new on the journey, and it's hard to really kind of do that introspection and recognize, wow, you may think that there's something you have worked through, or maybe it was a small incident in childhood that you've moved past. And sometimes I found, when I would get triggered so deeply, that was the gift of, my twin flame experience, was just being triggered so deeply, and things that just were, small, silly things that with any other person doing them to me wouldn't have had an impact. And I would be triggered so deeply, and it was these feelings that I was like, I don't recognize this feeling. I don't like it. I don't know what it is. But it was shame. It was like I hadn't felt that since I was like scolded by a teacher in front of the class, or, something like that you wouldn't even, you're like, where did that come from? Oh, this is ugly, but I got to work through it and face it now, right? So, anyway, I'm being called to pull at least one. We're going to see what wound needs to be focused on. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I'm not surprised to see this one come up. We've got rejection. So unwanted, scorned, disregarded. So there's some sort of, and this could even be, we're talking, obviously the first thing that comes to mind is a romantic rejection, right? Oh, somebody didn't, somebody broke up with you. But think way back further. Think back to kids on the playground, in that time that nobody wanted to play with you, or the time that you were picked last in gym class, right? Maybe a parent, or a step parent was, not very loving to you or wasn't there. So those types of things that you maybe have buried in your subconscious are the things, that it could be that this is what, is dwelling inside of you and is long dead, right? It happened so long ago, but it's inside, holding you back because you haven't purged it. So we have rejection, and we also have outcast. So those energies are very, very similar. It's like this girl is sitting by herself outside, holding balloons, like nobody wants, like maybe she was at a birthday party and like nobody wanted to talk to her, so she went and sat outside by herself. Bullied, persecuted, rejected. So we have rejection twice. So I'm definitely getting, for some of you, there's a rejection wound, and I'm getting it goes back to like maybe a childhood birthday party specifically, or a birthday. Maybe a parent would celebrate a sibling's birthday more than yours, or something like that. Those are the things We also have passive aggressive. So it could be called, you might have had a family member who was passive aggressive, but you may very well, because of that wound yourself, have some passive aggressive energy when you're in relationships that you don't even maybe realize you're doing it, but it's because you're so afraid of that rejection wound that then you like stall or sabotage things. So if that's resonating, that's something that I can help you work through it in a session. Obviously, a licensed therapist, counselor would be, have expertise to work through those things. But one of the first things, I would recommend doing is sitting down and writing a letter. Sit down and reflect on that situation. Number one, maybe get some Apache tears. Go back to that child or whatever situation you were in and feel it. Feel how that was, right? And then I would, write out maybe a letter of forgiveness to the person who engaged in that behavior that rejected you or made you feel that way. I did it. I know it sounds silly, but, I went through that process with many, many people. And, I was bullied extensively in high school. And there were a couple, a lot of girls that bullied me, but a couple in particular. And I went back and, I wrote a letter to them to forgive them. And and then I burned it. So I wrote all that out, burned it, and it's just like you feel so light. Each one of these that you write. I also, you can go back and forgive yourself in that situation. You can go back and talk to yourself, as your higher self now, to your inner child and comfort them in that situation. Help them look at it from a different perspective. And I know it sounds crazy maybe, but it really is empowering and it really does help because, we're really being pushed, and we do have a lot of planets. I think Chiron went in retrograde recently. That's the wounded healer. So you may have some of these wounds coming up right now. During Cancer season, it may have started with the introspection and you're like, why am I emotional? Or why are these situations presenting themselves to me, maybe that are triggering me out of nowhere? That's why we're really being asked to let go of these things because this dead energy, this negative energy is holding us back from moving forward in a balanced manner. And it also could be the reason, that you're not willing to take a leap of faith in something, be it a relationship that you're wanting to pursue, be it a job, be it having confidence to, go for a promotion or a new role, something like that. It's because, you've been rejected in the past and maybe you're still holding on to that negative impression of yourself. So I hope that was helpful, guys. Let's see. I'm getting a message too about, I pulled these cards out, the Wisdom of the Hidden Realms. Getting a pull some guidance on that. I feel like this is sort of a shadow. It can be like a shadow work deck. Just want to see what message wants to come out. The Swan Queen, transformation, intuition, and patience. That's so interesting, guys. I'm going to read what the book says, but 13 is the number associated with the death card in tarot. And it does say transformation. Wow. And for some of you, swans might be a totem animal, so that might be something that stands out. So let's see how these go. I think they are in alphabetical order. Maybe. No, they're in numerical order. Okay. Okay. The Swan Queen glides your way and asks that you look at your reflection in the events of your life. She gives you the ability to see the beauty that has transformed your life from ignorance to wisdom. The Swan Queen lets you know that it's time to go within and seek the answers in your own intuition. Don't look outside yourself for answers now. The true power lies reflected in the still waters within you. Now is the moment to meditate and ask for a vision. The power of psychic perception is inherent in you, and the Swan Queen will help you dive deep into your query to find the answers you seek. This is also a reminder to allow time to transform ideas into reality. Nothing happens overnight. That's awesome, guys. I love that, because it's that introspection about what I was just saying about really reflecting on what may still be holding you back. And if you're not, if you're scared, don't take that leap. Why? Now, she can show up as a challenger also, which could be the case because we're talking about shadow. So let's see what this says. When the Swan Queen appears to challenge you, it's time to stop doubting your inner voice. Don't let your analytical mind prevent you from seeing the miracles that Spirit places in front of you. Another message the Swan Queen shows you in the mirror of your life is your fear of change. Why fear what's inevitable? Wow. Okay. Everything in life changes and transforms from one moment to the next. Holding on to the past only distorts and mangles the natural order of things. If you can, in spite of your fear, be gentle with yourself and allow for change. Only beauty will come of it. Most important, a shift in perspective is what's called for now. That is just so beautiful, guys. I think we're back to this. Are you standing at the edge of the cliff, where, it's like, if I jump, I'm going to die? Or, and obviously we're talking about a figurative cliff, right? A precipice. Or if I jump, am I going to, take that leap? Am I going to fly? And so to me, that this Swan Queen, this confirms that a transformation is needed, a change is needed. You've just got to have the courage and the strength to take that leap of faith. And what Lionsgate, that energy, you have the potential to work with it now to manifest this and to usher in, right? Usher in that change, but you've got to let go of the past to catapult you forward. And this is a time of awakening and really taking a look at yourself and going inward and doing that introspection and that self-mastery, that balance. So I hope this was helpful, guys. If you would like to look into your specific situation, we can definitely schedule a tarot reading, or I have customizable sessions where I also do offer the natal chart insight that can help you start that journey of self-mastery and really looking into your personality traits and shadows and characteristics further. If you're interested in that, the link to my website is down below. Thanks so much, guys. Take care.